I feel like I always underestimate Ench in these kinds of fights. Because her impact is like not super noticeable. But she is just the kind of hero that can walk in front and like not really care about being jumped. So you can buy a lot of space for your team. So I'm leaning towards Eternity, but I feel like 5ManMidas with the coil, with the stone gaze, with the freezing field, they do have the tools in their arsenal. Which is a very non-committal way of saying Eternity.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would reckon I'd go for Eternity as well. They've got a little bit more burst. 5ManMidas have got decent burst, but eventually the puck, much like a Void Spirit, the nuke damage kind of falls off at some stage of the game because you are kind of capped there. Feeling is going to die for First Blood, though. That will reveal the ward. Feeling is going to ping it out, so we'll see if Eternity are going to go for the D ward here. Got a nice First Blood in for CDR, so they give it to the safe laner as well.
30 seconds to battle.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of burst either for Eternity. They, in fact, quite like these kind of long, drawn-out engagements. Tiny's got a bit of burst, but it's a support Tiny, you know, so it's going to be the Blink Avatos, which ain't bad, but there's no Echo Saber Silver Edge to follow up, right, for that kind of big whomping damage that scales nicely into the late game. So Eternity going to need some long fights here, which into the Dusa, I'm a little bit skeptic, to be honest. They need to get the right initiations. Tiny's going to be pretty clutch here. And honestly, I think that's going to be slightly difficult because they have really no one to give vision. You talked about how like this Ench is this annoying hero to like kind of give to stand in front of fights, and she does that, but you know, as a side effect, she also gives vision, which makes like Puck's life a lot easier. It makes Maiden's life a lot easier because she can know where to withstand to avoid this like tiny blink in, you know. So I don't know. In that respect, I kind of favor 5ManMidas. If it goes late enough, I think they ought to have a fairly easy game. As long as they don't get completely jumped to start every single fight. That's my read. So I guess early Eternity, late game 5ManMidas. Who would have thought? The caster goes with the Dusa late game, right? Very controversial, hot take, scorching.
Hey, bricks.
All right, here's this Necro mid. They have not blocked his camp, so as soon as this spawns in, I assume he's just going to go ahead and farm it, especially with more points and death pools. It just seems so free to me. That's definitely something that Fixers has an advantage in this lane, but that was a pretty sick deny from RRL, at least, or secured on the CS.
Dire's courier has been killed.
And a quick courier snipe top lane. That's that rune that's probably going to, or this ward will probably be sussed out then for 5ManMidas. They did at least get the courier early. Actually, that was a courier killed on bottom, pardon. What is Maiden actually and like it? Oh, okay. I think it was just dies bottom? What? Just to a toss?
I did not expect that one, but yeah, just toss back into Spirit Siphon.
To auto attacks, it's that easy, and now he's got Avalanche, so this becomes a bit easier. There's Fade and Ray.
I mean, it's the classic, right? You have one team who hits level 2 first on some heroes, they go for a fight and they get a kill. Happens so often.
Yep.
I feel like the first like 1 or 2 denies in the game are so impactful.
Yeah, they are. Even in the side lanes where, you know, the XP is being split, so it doesn't tend to hurt as much. This top lane now, the harass coming from Ray and CDR is starting to be a little bit insurmountable. You can see Wolves need to be denied, Maiden needing to kind of stay under tower and regen. It's so easy to get into that thirst threshold because you barely need to hit her with any spells and she's already there. So CDR with a bit of move speed already early on. His Fixer didn't go for the bottle, unless there's one on the courier. There isn't. It's the magic wand. So no bottle for him. Feels like it doesn't really need it. Hard to disagree with him as well. I mean, given that he's at almost full HP and mana against the Puck, who just spams out these spells all day.
It's kind of overkill for
they
the
get
most
fake
part.
top lane. Blood right here into the Arctic Burn Slow has been proven to be fairly brutal for this Lycan, and that's a combo that is going to continue throughout this entire lane. I say that because Lycan generally likes to avoid building boots. Wolves need no armor. Wolves also need no boots. It's down bottom. Another skirmish here. Good Avalanche here securing the kill onto Feeling. This bottom lane really starting to... I mean, bottom and top really going the way of Eternity. Mid lane might be more or less of a wash, but this is going to be quite the early game for Eternity at this pace.
I mean, you say that, but look at the CS on Fixers as opposed to RRL. He is owning.
So far, so good. I've got to imagine some of these are the side camps. So small advantage there, but the 5 denies surely adds up. RL not too far behind the ball either. Careful there, though. Fixers does a fair amount of damage. They have sensed the maiden home. She's going to TP back in. So a bit of a solo lane experience there. Audio's really taking quite a beating, though, from Revenant. Pretty soon we'll be bullied out of lane with that level 6.
And usually Deuce has one of the better laners against DP. Because you have really long range, so you don't risk like getting hit by the crypts when securing range creeps.
Denied.
Or the Spirit Siphon.
Yeah. Feelings
Hasn't
impact.
worked out that way for Aegis.
Yeah, Feelings impact has been quite limited though, thanks to that hard camp being blocked. He hasn't really been able to find a good creep. If he goes far into the jungle to find a good creep where it's not blocked, yeah, he risks the initiation here. Great toss. They find the Deuce. Audhu is tanking the waves without the damage block. The mana. The Snake's not even gonna come back, unfortunately. That's a great kill top lane. Now the Arctic burns in, so they won't be able to set up here onto Fade. But you could see how aggressive they were looking, right? CDR and all of Eternity really utilizing their aggressive nature in these lanes to also enable CDR to completely eclipse now the enemy offlane. 27-8 to 10-4 that's a lead. Wow.
Yeah, it's a brutal start. Does now have his Helm of Iron Will, but he's already quite far behind. I'm not sure if it's gonna help him too much.
And he's committed, going
it's
for Helm
not really
early.
about winning the lane.
No.
It's about surviving the lane now.
It is. Yeah, and he's going to want to stick around. CDR very much, I mean, he might get a Maelstrom and just plant himself in this lane, to be honest. He's not necessarily scared against a Lycan. In fact, holds a lot of kill threat against him. As long as they have a casual stun. That's something that Eternity is kind of lacking without the Tiny, who, speaking of, gets another kill on Audhuis there. There is no toss because he did toss back the Deuce, but these body blocks are impeccable onto Feeling. There's now mana for a toss. He just needs the vision and... yeah, with the creeps nearby, doesn't want to risk it. But there's a kill mid lane. Not a solo kill. It's Bolo and RRL who will turn and find a kill there onto the Necro. The Puck Urn, not a build we always see here too much, is going to be the item of choice. And the first of 2 charges there expended for a little heal onto RRL.
I mean, that makes sense to me. Having the Spirit Vessel again, oh, that should be a kill onto Moonlight.
Yeah, they'll get it. Recharge the Urn as well. Won't find it. Will they not get it?
No, it's not enough.
Oh, just barely. One little tick there is all the Tiny needed. Looks like that 6.3 HP regen a second coming in handy. Thank you, Tranquil Boots. That must be bugged. That's, yeah, okay, there it goes.
Yeah, getting the Vessel against a team that has a Wyvern, a Bloodseeker, a Necro, and a Death Prophet is kind of a given.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess Puck is the best hero for it.
Stop. Fade has been ruptured. He has no TP scroll, and therefore will end up dying here. Nicely done. Immediate smoke play underneath the Wolves, just so Moonlight does not die. Nicely done. As a fantastic early game here for Eternity, really. They are looking pretty unstoppable here at this pace. All 3 lanes.
Fixers
Well,
is gonna have it. Oh.
not really mid, right? But the other lanes are really going their way.
Fixers is gonna have his hood soon, which means that it's gonna be very difficult for him to die as well. Because there is really no notable physical damage until either Lycan or Dusa gets items, and with the starts that they've had, that's still quite far off.
Yeah, definitely. I think Eternal Shroud might be a very viable upgrade here as well for Fixers. If they didn't increase the amount of magic resist you get on it passively. That barrier, of course, still incredibly powerful. I might consider it here. It's a very strong start. Full Hooded Defiance. Not even just, I thought it was going to be the casual cloak, but no. Just decides to go fully into it. Not really like you're going to rotate to any of the side lanes anyway, unless they're diving a tower and you TP in. So, a reasonable build from Fixers, for sure. And he's going to have boots in no time anyhow. Our rune, second one of the game, into the bottle of RRL. A quick regen rune that honestly Fixers could go without. He's just happy it's not a DD, an Invis, or a Haste to enable a Puck easy rotation. RRL with 20.
Regen is such a feel-good rune though.
TP down bottom here is courtesy of the Maiden. Dota2 is still trying to defend this tower here at level 6. Does not have the skill points in the ultimate. Second teleport now is courtesy of RRL, who reveals himself with the Elusive. Feeling from behind is going to slow Revenant to a crawl as the Coil finds 2, but still Moonlight able to find the toss now onto Dota2. A good heal as well, courtesy of Ray. It does set Revenant up for another bit of damage, but they don't have quite enough. Even with that last impetus, he's going to heal back up here as well significantly as the Reaper's Scythe, not enough from the rotation from Fixers. Revenant still in the lane as well. They tried to nuke him down, but he stays alive, so it's only Moonlight who's going to end up dying, but RRL ends up behind enemy lines there. Underneath the tier 1 tower, he will fall.
Yeah, he got ruptured, and if you shoot the orb out far enough, you can jump to it without taking damage, but that orb was on that tower. It was regrettable, to say the least.
Well, that's going to be his resting place for now for the next 7 seconds. And then he's going to be in a fort. Oh, great usage of the Wyvern healing. Completely reduces the tower's damage. You can continue pushing a bit further. The Maiden's still down here. We're probably only here to collect experience. I don't think she's going to be trying to be a hero down here and stop the tower siege. Well, they say that, but she does at least get off a little bit of damage here to slow the push. Right, top lane, he's idly. Doesn't have quite level 6 himself, though. He's going to get it, though. Yeah, okay, there it is. Off the range creep, but Fade is not going to be stopped from getting the tower, and now has the full Hood of Defiance up. Deactivating Shapeshift now. Ray playing nicely around the trees, but he's now lost the flying vision, or the flying movement. Still has himself a heal to buy a bit of time and has a curse. You can see Fade very well aware of that as Ray is trying to maybe curse feeling here with the creeps, but can't quite find it. Fade continuing to run around as now finally Ray is going to go ahead and let himself be healed. Shapeshift is about to end as there's going to be finally the Winter's Curse coming through with the neutrals as well as the Radiant creeps beating into feeling. Ray still managing to escape here and will live through the entire Shapeshift. That is incredible. Oh, can you cast? Okay. Oh, there's no Hurricane for a while. Revenant dies in the Radiant jungle, however. That's a fairly big death for him, especially because the kill goes to RRL. And that's almost now the full vessel. He still needs 600, but he's about to have this online. So this is working out nicely here for the Puck.
Wyvern is still on the cliff, by the way. Just chilling.
No TP? No TP. Well, that'll be no Wyvern for some time. There's a courier now on the way. A trusty courier. He's a big courier as well. He's loaded. He's got a pig pole on him. That is, you know, objective number 1. I think the Secret Service, they always have a different code name for each president, allegedly. Oh, Ray's back down from the cliff. He's okay. He needed to protect that courier. Making sure he stays alive. Fade continuing to play aggressive now as going to move into the enemy jungle here, but Moonlight has got something to say about that, and it's a toss. He's saving it for now. As Revenant is going to go ahead and release the Phantasm. There's going to be the Avalanche still with the toss available. There he goes, and well, there he goes. He's simply dead. Revenant using Exo for this, though. Creep Wave fairly pushed out in favor of 5ManMidas in the top lane. There's actually, 5ManMidas, they're going to look elsewhere on the map now after the Exo is used. They don't want to be anywhere near the top lane, and instead will aim now and set their sights towards this Bloodseeker down bottom. But they're moving into Roche with that Exo, actually.
Oh, no way.
CDR. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and rupture up the Puck yet again. Standing inside the Blood Right, able to fight through the Maiden, who doesn't have the points in the ulti yet. There's a TP from Moonlight. Good Hurricane out from the Wild Wing Ripper, but they throw Feeling back under tower, who's still not up to level 6. Has a couple, just a 1 point actually in the attendance, and it looks like RRL, now that the rupture has ended, confident jumping onto Moonlight, who's fairly tanky. With the Urn, though, applied, he is going to die to that last little Frost Blast. Maiden. Sorry, Puck, I mean, still chasing for CDR. He's got more infused raindrops at the ready, so he's going to not die into that waning rift. So RL, if he wants to go for this, is going to have to commit very deep into the enemy base, and will not do that. I thought they moved into Roche for a second, and perhaps they did, but they moved back out of the pit.
Just a level 1 EXO that is almost expired isn't going to cut it.
Yeah, no, certainly not. Revenant instead will move back into the bottom lane and make a bit of space. CDR returns top. Full Maelstrom here, straight into the BKB. Forzo with 3 builds. I do like this 3rd point in the thirst. And now the 4th finally. Dota2, though, his farm not too shabby, especially considering he did take a death or two in the landing stage. But making decent progress here towards the Scotty, especially now even faster that he's unblocked his Ancient Camp.
I have to say, 5ManMidas has recovered admirably from quite a shitty laning stage, but right now it's just a tiny advantage for Eternity. The Dusa is farming, their Puck has a Spirit Vessel, their Lycan somehow managed to get close to Helm of the Overlord, so all things considered, not too bad.
He's chugging along very nicely. I think something else, that's going to be unfortunately dewarded rather quickly. As soon as, now RL sees it, moving in for it. There's a toss available, and I cannot kill the Puck. It does at least scare him away. And while they continue to make use of these Vessels kills, because Vessel's a great item early, but if you all of a sudden have an empty Vessel and you're trying to take down a Necrophos or a DP or a Tiny against this Wyvern, like, oh my god, it's going to be very difficult. So they have to make this one Vessel charge count, basically. And that's kind of the constant stress about having this item first on a Puck compared to something like a Witchblade, right, which gives you that consistent damage. I think it's the right item this game, by the way, but it does kind of put the pressure on 5ManMidas here, so you can see them smoke up.
Ooh,
nice
Fixers.
Little cheeky wraparound for Fixers. They've got plenty of magic damage here with the silence. They protect the Ghost Shot from coming through. Rainbow TPs come out, though. There's a little bit of healing onto Fixers, and he turns now with the Reaper Sight that sets up for the stun. The CC onto RRL, but he makes out alive on 19 HP. CDR must be moving at the speed of sound right about now. Oh, the Crypt Swarm with the Thirst Vision collects the kill as Maiden goes down as well. There is a Rupture. It's going to be for Fade, attempting to TP away. There's no one here to stop him. Avalanche instead here is for the Enchantress. The toss, however, is for Wyvern. I easily confuse deers and wyverns all the time. Moonlight, no worries.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Fixer is really happy about his hood purchase there.
Now he's got a Yule Scepter to be even tankier. They failed to get the kill. Struggling to do damage. Audius is showing up here. The toss again, that's a wagon and not a Gorgon, but instead they're going to try to save Fixers here by Winter's cursing a creep. Fade now is going to be running in with the boys as Moonlight around the side here, taking some harass from Feeling, but it's only an Impetus level 1. Fixers eager to defend the tower now from the Medusa who's showing up. Level 13 Medusa. No Eye of Scotty quite yet, so no Dispel available for her at this moment. A Fade is going to run out of Shapeshift here as Odhuis is tossed deep behind enemy lines here beyond the Tier 1 tower. RL is here at least for the second, what it feels like the second leash of the fight. It's a decent one, good enough at least to save Odhuis and to pick up the kill onto Moonlight and CDR. 5ManMidas winning this fight as there's Bolo who's going to go in and activate the Freezing Field. It's RL though with 2 more kills here onto Fixer, onto Ray. And that's Eternity severely overstaying their welcome around that Tier 1 fight. Well done, 5ManMidas.
Illusion.
Yeah, really making good use out of all of their magic damage there. They take the Tier 1 and they just go ham.
Yep. Most impressive to me, I think, was the way that the cooldowns were kind of scouted there by 5ManMidas. I mean, there was nothing, no Reaper Scythe for that entire fight. What's it called? Exo is now just coming off of cooldown. Wyvern Curse was used in an attempt to disengage that fight, but they still ended up getting dragged back into it. So very nicely done by 5ManMidas. I doubted Atu was showing up, but shame on me. He's now got full Manta Style online, another 500 gold in the bank, chugging along very nicely here for the Dusa.
Yeah, last time I looked at my screen, Bloodseeker was 1k gold ahead of the Dusa, but now he's more than like 1500 gold behind. That's a pretty good sign for the 5ManMidas fans out there.
Oh yeah, and I spoke about how important this RL Vessel is going to be, and he's keeping it topped up here, 3 charges, so he can kind of just look for these quick kills. And there he goes, now onto Ray. Waning Rift will annoy Roche, but mostly it's going to be here for the kill onto the Wyvern, who has no chance to save herself. RL recovers that 3rd charge of the Vessel. Map control starting to really slide out of control here for Eternity, but the BKB's coming online soon for Bloodseeker, so he can be a little bit more threatening in the fights. All the magic damage that 5ManMidas here, as Sexy Fat would like to say in the SA panels, means that Bloodseeker cannot show his face without a BKB. BKB, a very necessary item for him, and again, about to have that one completed shortly.
And because of the build that Revenant went for with the Huda and the Yules, his BKB is still quite far off. So he's definitely still quite vulnerable to all of the magic bursts too.
I like this though from Eternity. I gotta be honest with you. I think, you know, finally we've broken the mold of heroes that don't need to build BKB every single game. You can consider alternatives here, as they clearly are, right? BKB is usually still a common pickup on a DP offlane, whereas Fixers, right, the Hood is a little bit more normal. But you know, it's nice to see, right? Especially with the buffs that these items have been receiving. Not BKB rush straight every single game. Diversifying a couple of the items. I kind of doubt that we'll see like a Crimson Guard this game, but you know, there's more items that you can build besides just BKB refresher now. It feels good. Tell you what they need to do though. They got to remove the guard time, on Pipe of Insight as well as Guard Barrier. There's actually, I don't think Pipe has it, but I know Crimson Guard does. When you activate it, much like Mech, there's a cooldown where you can't be affected by another one for like the entire cooldown, basically. You know, you get rid of that, people will start buying Crimson. I think PL would start crying, but it's fine. He can comfort himself with more illusions.
Is under attack.
He's got the doppelganger.
I don't mind PL crying. He deserves it.
Yeah, me too. I don't mind him either. This is a great read from 5ManMidas. They are grouping up now to push bottom, but without the Dusa quite crucially, and with BKB here is not Revenant, who does need it, but he's got a Yule Scepter, which buys enough time here for now CDR to show up and counter-initiate. Glimmer for Bolo is going to kite CDR a bit, but he finally gets the kill. Revenant's still alive now, saved by the cold embrace of Ray, as over in the trees, Fade attempting to TP out is going to have his TP cancelled by the Reaper Scythe. It's not a Reaper Scythe kill necessarily, but it's a kill enabled by the Reaper Scythe. So no permanent stack there, at least for the Nekker. Another toss back there. 3Mites back on the money. Lacks, of course, the attack speed to get through Keeling. And might just get away here. Fixers looking to chase. Uses the Yule Scepter aggressively, sets up as well for CDR, who's got a bit of attack speed, and finds a Maelstrom proc there for the kill.
And CDR didn't even need to use his BKB there. At the same time, this Dusa is getting fat. Even bought a casual Crystallis.
Oh yeah. It's a good item. Extremely valuable. A little bit counterintuitive, and you can see he's actually doing the right thing here. When you do have yourself a crit, you want to make sure you're pumping out your full amount of damage. So you actually toggled off Split Shot, oddly enough, to farm, which for the Dusa, kind of feels like a waste of 4 skill points, sure. But eventually, once that's fully upgraded, that'll feel pretty good. You got your Split Shot uses modifiers, and ooh baby, we're in business. RL, he's got another empty vessel here after that last fight. DD Rune in the bottle, though. Might be enough for him to find a pick-off here and refill it. Again, without... I guess you have 2 Yule Scepters, one on Fixers, one on Revenant, but without BKBs, you can't, be immune completely to the effect of this item. So RL is going to look to backstab the fight while the Dusa TP's on in. There is the upgraded Helm of the Overlord ready to go, as there's a kill quickly in RL. They ruptured him up, and Puck's going to bleed out on the flight. Tiny Airlines, unfortunately, not a very comfortable ride there for the Puck, and neither is it here for Fixers, who's going to be turned to stoned and killed by Odhus. And once again, Eternity go mid, and they will be repelled. A 1-for-1 trade, but more ultis used here yet again by Eternity.
Into Roche they go.
They feel confident. There is still a curse.
Take this pretty quickly.
There's a curse, though, and that's kind of the scary part about fighting and trying to sneak a rush here against Eternity. There's good vision, at least set up around for 5ManMidas. Revenant's going to receive a nice heal here, courtesy of the Exorcism. Actually, it's not that much. He was probably expecting a bit more. Forced to use the Yule Scepter, but there's wolves waiting for him, as well as an Ancient Black Dragon. Winter's Curse, though, is good for the kill onto the Enchantress. Untouchable does not work against your allies. Most passives don't. That means, thanks to the curse, it's going to be another reset here for 5ManMidas. RL, he's got himself a coil in 10 seconds. CDR has BKB, might have to use it. No, Cold Embrace is there, and instead RL is going to be counter-initiated on. Fixers has a Reaper Scythe, but this Puck's got way too much HP and a fast finger. Blink Dagger is trivial there for RL, as Odhus is going to spend his time trying to finish off Roche. Moonlight attempted to get into the pit, but he's actually dying here to the Ancient Creeps, as well as just the jungle. Bolo doing a good job here, creating a gap, is now RL counter-initiating, has the coil ready, dropping it onto Moonlight. Doesn't get the kill, though, courtesy of, wow, a great Cold Embrace into immediately deleting the Aegis thanks to that Reaper Scythe. Fixers, though, in a bit of a rough spot, but it's Moonlight with another great Avalanche here, which slows Bolo, slows Arduous. The silence onto 2 might just get Moonlight out of here, and RRL without Aegis is not jaunting underneath any tier 2s. Okay, CDR still has BKB and a freshly delivered Basher, but Arduous is going to just make a quick little run away with the Stone Gaze active to disengage. That I don't know if Eternity scouted that Stone Gaze, but either way, they're not going to chase. And they're going to be quite content there with neutralizing the first Aegis.
Yeah, not too bad. It lost the Roche, but immediately the Aegis. The Bloodseeker is keeping up with Dusa somewhat. And both Revenant and Fixers are doing decently in terms of farm.
Yeah, and Dusa doing over 4,000 damage in that fight this early on. Dare I say that's the impact of the early casual Crystallis? You know, it's done so much. I'm not used to seeing Dusa with only 4 casts of Mrs. Snake doing 4,000 damage with only, you know, this much net worth. It's impressive.
Now she has the Skadi too. I have a feeling that Eternity might start to struggle with this Dusa soon. Because they have some tools like the Death Prophet Shard eventually, but Revenant really isn't in a position to like man-fight a Dusa right now.
Certainly not. They've got to throw out a position. Moonlight's been able to find a good toss here a couple times, especially early after the tier 1 push, but they just lack the damage to get through her then. That was about 15 minutes in the game. It's 10 minutes later now, which is even tankier, especially with Scotty being delivered. Shapeshift from Fate, as they are going to look for a CDR, but they might have to settle instead for a Wyvern, who is, again, going to be quite annoying here. Buy herself extra HP with the Golden Brace, gets off a Curse, and that may condemn the Eng, but no, again, passives do not work against allies, including the crits. There's going to be, oh, RL staying alive, he gets off the Illusion Rune. I'm not sure if that dispelled anything important. Oh, but it does allow him at least to blink away. He's a madman, though, gets closer to Revenant, who is still lifestealing off of him, but I guess not when he's in the phase shift. And now Moonlight as well as CDR being zoned out here by the Ancient Black Dragon. Moonlight cannot blink back here, constantly on cooldown thanks to the auto attacks. Now stuck inside the mini Fireball. Fixers can really not do much. He's already used the Reaper Scythe. Moonlight still making it out of this fight alive. Oh, finally finished off there by the Maiden. That's the buffs to her abilities for sure. Arduous utilizing perhaps the Stone Gaze a bit early there, but will secure the tier 1 tower with it. And that's another 1 fight here by 5ManMidas.
I have no idea how they're gonna deal with this Dusa. They would need to kill her entire team first. I guess Death Prophet BKB is gonna help somewhat, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. Oh, Bolo. He's gonna donate his life to the cause.
He does. RL, I'm not sure if they have literally any lockdown for him. They don't, especially with Moonlight dead. It's a bit difficult. He'll be away. Bloodseeker's got BKB ready to go again. Reaper Scythe coming off cooldown in 30 seconds, so that'll be the fight timer. Maybe you wait for Exo. Probably won't be level 3 here in the last minute. And I have to say, pardon me, I haven't really felt like the Exos have been the most impactful this game.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And we'll see. Maybe with the BKB, it's gonna buy her enough space.
Yeah, it could be a result
get it going.
Of the Eul Scepter build that I did admire earlier. Perhaps coming back now in this timing. You don't have the BKB that you kind of need here. The magic damage is starting to get a little bit overwhelming. Fade even now is starting to scale nicely. We'll have a BKB of his own soon enough. As Fixers is pursued here by RRL Puck. But no other heroes in the vicinity, so RL just doing a bit of harass, trying to nuke the waves. Tower's being sieged as if Arduous had Aegis. He does not. Bottom.
Oh, Moonlight.
I don't know. I don't know about this. Oh, blink away right before the coil connects. That one was close. Top lane instead, it's Arduous who finds himself now ruptured, creating a bit of space. Doesn't mind going for a bit of a run here. They need to get vision here because I expect a TP out. No. It actually looks like 5ManMidas are going to be willing to fight this. Bolo in the trees is scouted and initiated on. He is dead. Arduous as well. Can TP, but now with so many enemy heroes around him, very unlikely to complete it. RRL has no coil. It was whiffed earlier, so Eternity winning this fight as they get through the Dusa. They use the Reaper Scythe onto RRL. Eternity fighting back now, lose the tier 2 tower, but pick up 2 kills here out of the cores. And probably feeling too.
TP, not gonna work.
Ooh, lovely little ice shards in my face. The feelings.
That's a 4-0, and they didn't even have to commit curse in the fight. Just Dusa being caught in kind of an awkward position there.
They got a bit too aggressive there on the chase. I would say missing the coil as well, kind of opening up that fight easily. As when Puck eventually comes to in this fight, it's going to be obviously without a big component of the team fight. Tiny eventually rotates on through, and nice job by Eternity, who are going to be able to connect on the spells in a big way, removing the Maiden as well early on in that fight. And finally, are able to get a little bit of momentum and even dare to venture across the enemy side of the map. Now you can see the blink out was just in time there. And then the fight easy after that. After the rupture. Surprised Audius didn't go for a TP play, but well played to Moonlight for, I guess, being there and threatening. Or I guess being in fog, most importantly. The threat of the unknown, as they say. Now a Shard, CDR has, of course, his scaling damage against the Medusa. So as the Medusa does continue to tank up, and it won't be tanking up too significantly for a while anyway, with the Eye of Scotty already done. The bulk of the stats are here on the Medusa. Nevertheless, he'll have the percentage base damage, and that is certainly going to go a long way. A little bit of skirmishing here, as Ray, once again cosplaying a ward, has stuck himself up on the high ground with no way off. Oh, with a blink dagger, actually. Toss back, is going to scare the life onto RL. Second time they've gotten the rupture toss combo off. And Bolo now on the run, dusted up here. The Glenvar Cave ending. He's slowing his enemies, but here comes Fixers. Will he commit the usage of the Reaper Scythe? No. Doesn't need to. Wow, this Maiden has a full Lotus. Not bad, eh? Fairly decent for the position 4 Maiden.
I was looking for the shard, but she just has a straight up Lotus.
It's 250 gold for that bad boy. 257, that was an awkward amount, but good gold anyway. And maybe even a kill onto the Enge, who is also going to be able to take here Eternity on a bit of a walk. Oh, the toss is onto Moonlight instead. And wow, committing even the Scythe. They wanted her dead. That's 3 stacks now of the permanent regen for the Necro.
And Fade, almost like him, has an Assault Cuirass as well.
The item.
That's not a big item for 5ManMidas. They just haven't been able to find the fight that they're looking for.
Yeah.
They're losing ground as a result.
Zeus is getting closer to this 25 talent, though, and might be looking for a pick-off here. Ray up on the high ground. Okay, now they know. They still actually don't see Ray. Now they have finally scouted the Wyvern. And even though you miss a couple of... wow, that was a lot of uphill misses. But, you know, you get the kill there eventually.
And Dusa is still very large. Closing in on 25.
The thing is, she's not quite in charge, I think, until she does get that 25. I think once you get 25 on, you got that casual credit and everyone with an AC aura. You're looking real darn good there. In fact, you're looking real good here with potentially kill on the Fixers. He is broken, but not too big of a deal for the couple of seconds. He is frozen in place and quickly killed off. No, the toss back for the save. Tiny Airlines. This time it's the medevac play. Babolo letting it go in the backlines, and RL shutting the door from behind. The BKB allies are still allowed to live here for eternity, but for how long? Nice movement there with the spider legs. It's going to be the Maiden who will likely collect that kill. Actually goes the way of Feeling.
Eternity.
And it's only going to
so
be,
close.
yeah, Moonlight who makes it out alive, and only because he bought back. A full wipe here for 5ManMidas, who are going to go straight into Roche, likely get Aegis number 2.
That's the fight 5ManMidas needed. Just the perfect start, finding fixers like that, and just not quite surviving. just Dusa standing in the middle, dealing damage. That's all they need.
Yeah, looks good. Even if there was a really clutch Tiny save, the Maiden ulti forcing out the BKBs. That time everyone's just got to bail out of the fight. It's not looking real too good for Eternity there, who do lose CDR towards the end of this replay, especially as he was getting pretty darn close to this eye of Scotty all of a sudden and needs to ensure that he's got buyback for the rest of the game. Do so with his Aegis, with Shard. Is Maiden? Is Maiden! There we go. They gave us support and item. RL, I reckon he's okay here. He's going to be taking a bit of damage, but nothing he can't sustain through.
And he's going for a late Witchblade.
I'm not sure if it'll matter too much. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't think it'll... What, instead of... Oh, good toss back, actually. Underneath tier 4 towers, this is potentially dangerous for out of US, but he did get a Lotus buff, so he's going to be pretty good. There's immediately the Freezing Field's cancel, but it does force Moonlight to Avalanche awkwardly, and oh, well, goodbye, Maiden. Absolutely deleted by Odhus.
Rip Bolo.
Odhus, though, 25 talents taken now after the kill into the Tinies. But John uses modifiers, Scotty debuff, casual crits for everyone. Those arrows are rated E for everyone now.
How do they deal with this Dusa?
Radiant are scanning.
She doesn't even care about Rupture at all.
Yeah, and that was actually a fairly promising tossback. The CDR needs Scotty, I think, for the attack speed slow. And they need a good tossback. And I think perhaps they can make that work. Because this Blood Rage Shard is very strong. I think it's still very, very strong. Maybe...
I mean,
you
if
know what?
Bloodseeker can hit, I can see them winning the fight, but that is the problem.
I'm going to say it. You get the Blood Mist eggs. Give me Blood Mist eggs. That's how you take her down. You just need percentage-based damage, otherwise I don't think it's going to work.
I'm going to say it. Please don't do that.
Buy Ags, gets Blood Mist. Yeah, think about it, right? 7% HP per second, right? That's fine. The move speed slow. And the heal bonus. Think about that, right?
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work.
I am now fully convinced.
Oh, I mean, you got percentage-based damage into eventually Reaper Scythe. Speaking of, I think, sorry, Fixers is just dead. It's a Freezing Field, and it's going to let it go. Good slows here. Moonlight does cancel that immediately, though, but Fixers is just slowed to a crawl with Fade closing the gap. Here's reinforcements, though. The Rupture, I believe, was onto Fade, who is going to TP out of this one. So actually, maybe a promising fight for 5ManMidas, as a Revenant has the Silence. Doesn't have a Shard actually yet on this DP, so there's no fear to control the Deuce through the fight. The Winter's Curse is completely reflected. RRL focusing now onto the Wyvern now that the spell has been wasted. But look who's out of mana. Perhaps out of life here, but only life number 1 for CDR. He retains his BKB, though, for a fight number 2 should it break out. But for now, Eternity quite pleased what they've accomplished in that first little fight, and will not look to push their luck further against this Dusa. They almost have 2 Rupture Charges here for the Bloodseeker.
Yeah, I don't think either team particularly minds that engagement. They traded a position 5 for an Aegis with 2 minutes left. It's not too bad for either team.
Might make it a bit tricky if they want to go up to high ground here, though. That it's going to secure CDR. Oh, well, careful here, Dusa. It's going to secure CDR's 25. Moonlight whiffs, unfortunately, there, but he's got the toss back at the ready. Does connect it here before the... Oh, well, there's actually finally the Lotus Orb. Fight number 2 breaking out. This time not looking so good for 5ManMidas. They're onto the Dusa. Oh, they're ignoring the puck completely under the cover of the BKBs, and it's a Reaper Scythe kill as the Dusa is surrounded and murdered. Bolo now is going to be receiving the Rupture Charge that's left, and the kills for CDR. Oh boy, that's a big opening now for our Eternity.
Yeah, damn. Agius really needs to be careful about his positioning. He's farmed, but he's also 1 and 5.
Yeah, just sitting a bit too aggressive. He liked the vision of that ward so much that he, went a nice view, and he decided to settle down there and actually die. Much like Buffalo Bill in Golden, Colorado.
Right. See the surprise on CDR as well? Like when he walked into Argius, like, wait, you're real?
Feeling likely to die here. Moonlight on the cover of Invis, makes the jump. There's going to be the toss back. need a lot of magic damage. They've already hit him with 25, courtesy of the dust and feeling, running for his life. He's got 4 stab. He's got, well, himself Yules now. He's got a full wand, so he's going to live. Goodbye.
Radiant's top
Double dust wasted.
Double dust wasted.
Value.
180 gold down the drain. Massive.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Looks like CDR may have misclicked. He has Satanic in his quick buy, but he definitely wants to buy an
Radiant's
Aghanims, right?
bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I think so. You get that percentage-based damage. I mean, look, you can be doing basically 9, even more probably, like close to 11% HP per second. That's incredible. Reaper Scythe, bada bing, bada boom,
Radiant's
you're dead.
bottom tower has fallen.
Buck also might be dead. Good silence though, the Waning Rift catching 1. The Moonlight is here for the toss back into the waiting arms of Fixers. The Scythe not quite yet ready though, but the Curse certainly is, and Feeling is going to put down his ally. Ray rewarded with the kill is Feeling his invis, and is not going to be able to be tossed back.
Nice kill. There is buyback though.
There is. Might be forced out here, especially with the Exo level 3 used. Fixers up to the high ground. Moonlight and Ray waiting behind. There is no threat of the Curse anymore, though. And there's Hadius and now Bolo going up to defend. There's going to be the toss back. Buyback as well from the puck, triggered at the same time. Disarm, but screaming is the Dusa. As the coil only catches the 1. Cold Embrace healing a bit there. Fixers is also turned to stone momentarily. There's going to be the first rupture of the fight. I believe onto the Dusa. Now 1 for the Maiden, who's silenced and about to be killed. CDR gets a big heal off of that one. Fixers, however, is being ran down. Silenced and now applied with the vessel. He is going to fall. Got a buyback himself. 2 buybacks out from this engagement from 5ManMidas. Eternity do have control of the outpost, but it seems like they are going to be letting this one pass them by. So everyone is looking to just simply TP away. Get damaged there by the Bloodseeker there. Who was the second rupture target? Did he rupture Dusa again? Because she took literally no damage. Okay.
Yeah, Dusa was ruptured, but she doesn't care at all.
No, she does not. That does at least leave RL without buyback. That's kind of crucial here. Roche fight could be upcoming as soon as in 30 seconds. Could be another 3 minutes after that, but to be certain, there will be no buyback available on Puck for that Roche fight. No Maiden either, so buyback here is certainly looking better for Eternity, especially if they can continue controlling their jungle and therefore their outpost to make their buybacks a little bit more useful if a Roche fight were to break out like that. So any pickoffs onto RL become pretty valuable at this stage. But with Fixers dead, Eternity are going to sit back in their base and play life for a little bit. They want to be doing here at this stage.
Ooh, Bolo almost has a BKB. That's gonna be a big one.
He's getting there. Well, I mean, look, it's 40 minutes, right? But he also did buy a 4,000 gold item, being the Lotus, right? So he could have had it if he wanted it. The Philly Stone helps a bit, but the hero farm's just okay, honestly. You could be worse. It could be Bane.
True.
That's what I always think whenever I'm playing a Lion or something like that.
No Carry Eng this game. She still has the Hurricane Pike.
Yeah, not
Decent.
a bad item by any means. Wouldn't mind actually seeing the treads just for that extra 200 HP when it comes to tanking. But, you know, you've got the full wand, so it's a little bit more effective HP there. I've always been a fan of going for the Shard and Holy Locket and taking all your nature's attacks. Ooh, it's so juicy. You actually heal like 1,000 HP a second if you're the only target. It's really stupid.
Radiant are scanning.
In the rivers
Eternity
RL.
now going for a smoke.
Yeah, he's bottled up a haste rune. His scan pops up hot though, up to the high ground where Ray is gonna find himself a puck and will blink away. Doesn't want any of that. The rest of Eternity, though, are continuing on. We're down bottom. They see the illusions of Adhuis continuing to push the wave. Adhuis now defended by that Lincoln Sphere, however. Is a bit of a more difficult target. Maintains his hold, his position here in the trees. I don't know if there is a gem, but Fixer is going to break. Don't know. He wasn't carrying a gem at least. Neither is the Wyvern. He was building a refresher here. The smoke for Eternity is going to come up empty-handed, which means that's this next Roche fight in about 25 seconds is going to have no big advantage, pardon, for one side or another.
Speaking about big items, Moonlight almost has a hex on this Tiny.
It's a big one. We've got Dream Coil, Pierce the Spell Immunity, DP very close to 25, even Tiny not too far. And, looking at kind of the XP tables. Oh, mid lane. Careful here, Fixers. He's completely isolated. The rest of the team's actually on the dire side of the river. Here goes the Dinosaur. Triceratops trying to yell at him. Nullifier is out. It's going to make sure he cannot go into the Ghost Trap. But Fixer, I mean, RRL is caught in the river and killed. Arduous, though, doing some major damage, and Bolo letting it go with the BKB. In fact, quite fast with the Boots of Barry now. Is going to get the kill at least onto Fixer, who has buyback. The curses for Bolo, who is immediately killed off and does not have buyback. That's now a 5 versus 3 fight with now the Dusa misplaced out of the fight. The Reaper Scythe is not going to quite kill her, but the Disarmer for her remaining seconds of life. And nothing Phelan could do there. In fact, he might end up dropping the gem. Dual Sceptered up, sets up for next Tiny Avalanche combo, and he is going to fall just with the right clicks of CDR. Gem on deck and ignored. And I think the square is actually be able to recover it somehow. There it goes. Hello, and goodbye.
Ooh, and Roche is up. Go for Roche and then still try to siege before Adusa even respawns. They're gonna take it really fast with his Bloodseeker just hitting like a truck.
Oh yeah, it'll go fast. Revenant now up to 25. 8 Exo Spirits. Fixers has been 25. He's going for Death Pulse and cooldown. So he's spamming out these bad boys. Roche, number 2. Number 3, pardon, is gonna go down with Refresher Shard. They give it to CDR for now. Probably for a second BKB, honestly. He's still the popular option, and he can also build and finish off, pardon me, his full Mjolnir. Casual Butterfly is going to prove to be a bit problematic here for the Dusa, who now has immediately queued up an MKB in order to deal with that. But through an Aegis now onto Fixers, this match has become a bit more difficult for Eternity. They're starting to split the utility here. Upgraded Mjolnir.
We're not gonna see high ground just yet. At least gonna get another tier 2 for Eternity.
2 hexes on the team, one for Revenant, one for Moonlight. And speaking of 2s, Tiny as well has taken up the second toss. He's now got that, as well as toss requires no target, so that makes his job at throwing the Dusa away from these fights or towards his team much easier. Refresher Orb is finished for the Wyvern, so 2 curses here now at the ready. Eternity are pushing with some mighty big weapons here, some mighty big upgrades as they make the jump for RRL. The Hex does connect. Moonlight is going to toss back into the second Hex now. The Silence, there's no backup here. There's another toss here. Silence still and killed is RRL.
Ooh, CDR. Is he going to lose his Aegis? No.
CDR doesn't have Aegis on Fixers.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Didn't have to worry about that, but that is a massive kill into the puck, just absolutely controlled throughout her entire life. 80 seconds now. This is looking like a couple lanes of barracks, especially as Eternity start to really close the grip.
Radiant's middle tower is under
BKB
attack.
queued up by Arduous as he's really actually kind of struggling this game to stay alive in these fights. Toss, of course, is going to be a bit difficult there. Still goes through the spell immunity. Continue to try and hold. Moonlight makes the jump and in some trouble now. To the edge, next up, and Reaper Sight. They just want her dead, but she's got buyback.
Easy regen.
Ooh, and in 20 seconds, Puck has buyback, but has spent money on Aeon Disc. And is not going to be able to buy back here. It's 1,000 gold short. Might need to sell that Witchblade. 2 lanes of barracks taken. The Fortify does at least prevent Revenant's Exorcism from completely tearing apart the base, but that's another toss back onto Bolo. That'll trigger the buyback now, and the BKB. Bolo's letting it go. Freezing Field onto Fixers. Okay, Yule Scepter force, but Bolo still has a couple more seconds to say the least of Freezing Field. Silenced up. He's going to finally have to stop letting it go, but now in goes Arduous, who is going to be BKB'd. There's a Winter's Curse, but I think it's onto... No, it's onto the Medusa proper, but she's not going to die to that. In the meantime, 5ManMidas have at least routed Eternity, who are going to scamper up to the high ground and set up the cliff ward and put this fight under this one. Still no buyback though on
Wasn't
the
a
pop.
kill on Dusa, but it did force the BKB, and they now have another curse ready as well. Eternity still very much ready to fight, even without the exorcism.
Abyssal on the way though for CDR. Well, he doesn't have the slot for it is the thing, but he's going to have it. Oh, nice little regen. Thank you very much. I'll take that 1,000 HP. Odhuis then, 40 seconds till his own BKB. With BKB now ready to go is Bloodseeker. Vision now, of course, on the Deuce. But there's a nice ward here for Eternity to intercept anyone who's going to want to fight. They're about to scout this DD. No, they're not going to scout the DD yet. And actually, they're going to smoke up. This could be devastating. They're not ready. Oh, the DD's over. But they haven't scouted the Abyssal Blade either. And that still might be something that Eternity can use to their advantage, especially as they close the gap on the Deuce. So they're starting to ping the camps. She knows she's going to be in the area. They don't quite see where she's gone. And it seems like, oh, that's, what a pause. As I'm toggling between the vision, how tense is this? A kill at this stage would be absolutely massive now that Medusa's committed the TPA without buyback, sorry, without BKB pardon for 5 more seconds, but I reckon she makes it out of this one alive.
Yeah, she's probably fine. Even if Tiny knew where she was, I'm not sure if he could get in range.
There's a mouse, it sounds like, for Moonlight. He's got to get rid of it. Getting a cat. A mouse trap set up.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Vixas actually went for a heart on Necro. He's like, I just need to be tanky. Don't need anything else. Let's see, anyone? Ooh, Bolo on this Crystal Maiden is actually higher level than Fate, even though Fate on his Lycan is the 3rd most farmed hero in the game.
Well, you know, it's this.
I guess it's
the BKB shot. I mean, Bolo is not doing too poorly this game. If you look at kills, he's what? Yeah, 4, 9, and 16. It ain't bad. 2nd highest kill.
not at all. It's just interesting to note. Because you can tell that Fade is doing a lot of his farming with his creep, so he's not getting XP for all of it.
Pardon does have a nice inventory to show for it, though. He's actually the one to pick up the Boots of Barian himself. Very useful for the Maiden ulti, because this movement speed slow is dispellable. Boots of, or I guess, Boots of Barianable. So that's been incredibly useful for Bolo whenever Fade feels the need to use it. And honestly, you're not really too concerned about any other significant move speed slows. The Arctic Burn can be annoying, to say the least, but you know, other than that, that's going to be your only concern in this engagement. The other big concern is going to be the buyback status. Right now, Puck has buyback back again after farming up the gold that RL spent for the Aeon Disc. Without buyback now is Faye, who I believe just bought a BKB. Is this one new? It's relatively new. Oh, okay. Well, Rupture is here, feeling for staff, but not down to the low ground. He's going to try and heal himself up. Nice little pit on the Stormcrafter. Buys a bit of time. CDR does commit his first BKB. First of 2, of course, because he has the Refresh Shroud. He's going to now pop the Refresher. Another 2 Ruptures, but he's going to be caught by the Cold Embrace. It's a friendly one, of course. Inside the coil is Fixers, but he does get tossed back now. Cheese consumed by Revenant and BKB committed as RL in trouble. Silence and running for his life, but the Exo Ghost giving chase. He dodges the Crypt Swarm. He's still inside the phase shift. Ooh, just cannot evade all of this damage that's coming his way. Bolo's TP is canceled instantly by the Hex, and it's going to be CDR and the rest of Eternity who take this fight. It may be the game.
Throne is being pinged. Let's see. Puck has buyback. Lycan doesn't have buyback. CM has buyback.
Now
and
CDR is attacking like a machine gun. Down goes the bottom of the set of barracks. Only top now stands between Eternity and the Megas. Without BKB though on CDR, it's on cooldown for 34 seconds, and Adios has returned here with the Silver Edge in hand, breaks Fixers as he kicks off this second fight, but in trouble is RL. He's been hexed up once, a toss back into a second hex is still possible, and there it is, but Ray jumping in, looking for a curse, doesn't quite need one yet because RL is just dead. CDR has ruptured himself though, and is dying to this actually, but he doesn't need to move that far to find the Dusa, who's silenced, still alive, but dying as Moonlight makes it a twofer as he tosses in the Maiden. Adios is the only one remaining actually, as he jumps right back in with the buyback. That might delay Eternity for now, but CDR massively heals off the creep wave. He's still got 2,000 HP to deal with. Dusa has a BKB, but his Hex now silenced, ruptured yet again. The toss is good, but the BKB is out for the bashes. Here's Fade, who didn't have buyback earlier. He does at least apply the Nullifier, which removes the Bloodrite buff, but Adios does not have enough damage here, it would seem. Fade as well as being caught and bashed, eventually able to outrun, but now Adios without BKB is going to be killed. The Avatos finishing him off, and the GG called by Fade, who hides in the corner. Tail between his legs. Unfortunately, the Lycan could not get it done here. The Dusa, farmed as she was, still falls all the same to the Bloodseeker. It's going to be Eternity take game number 1 after 51 minutes.
I was worried for Eternity in the mid game because Dusa was starting to get really big, but then they had some beautifully executed team fights.